Okay. Now, this we'll call the levels of life. I got a little head start this time just so I can put out the basic layout. It was taking me a little while. But here it is, the levels of life, right? As I've been, studying and trying to get an understanding of this, because of course, I'm a lifelong learner. I'll always be learning and trying to develop my craft and develop my understanding for my own, personal fulfillment. But as I've been studying, I was studying this at work, and I decided to like draw out a diagram or this here just so I can understand it better. And I feel like visually, it's very helpful. I feel like if I can't help myself, maybe I can help you guys as well. So this is levels of life, and we have the physical plane, the emotional, which is also the mental plane, but I added frequency for understanding, and then the spiritual plane, which is the infinite. Now, obviously, down here we have the physical plane, which is where we live day to day. Everything that we deal with, what we consider to be reality. Even though we only experience 0.0035% of it, still, this is just our understanding of the physical world. This is here and this is here, and everything is separate from us, and I am here, and that's it. Now, we have our desires, which are, of course, things that we want. That could be a job promotion, it could be that car that we want, that relationship that we want, maybe it's a certain amount of money, whatever it is, right? But we have desires. And then this is Johnny over here. His head's a little big today, arms a little small, but that's okay, right? We understand Johnny's just being Johnny. We're gonna let him be great. Now, as everybody wants their desire, everything is connected, right? And it goes up to this plane, up to this plane, up to this plane. Now, while we have our world self, we have Johnny, which is over here and trying to get to these desires. Something that a lot of people don't understand or don't accept or don't follow is you are not alone. We say that all the time, and we normally think, okay, on the physical world, who else is around me? What else do I have here? But not only just in the physical world, but up above here, you have a partner who is your infinite self. He is part of you, not separate, just another part of you. Your infinite self is always with you because that's what you are. This is just an expression of your infinite self, but you guys are connected. Now, when you think of infinite, you think everything, because that's what it is, everything. Now, in terms of you down here and trying to chase your desire, you look at this, you see it separate as this is point A, this is point B. How exactly do I get from A to B? And you're not exactly sure. You ask other people, you have some steps, but you're just not certain if that's really fully going to get you to point B, or it seems like you need to do this and this and this and this and this to get to point B, right? That's just how you look at it. Now, your infinite self, when it comes to your desires, it's already there. It's infinite. That means not just that there's a path where you found yourself to that desire, and there's a path where you didn't, but that also means there's an infinite amount of ways that you found that desire, and an infinite amount of ways that you didn't, right? All of these paths, everything that you could have done, are doing, and will do is already done. I know it's hard to understand because of infinite. We don't think in terms of infinite, but keeping it very basic in terms of the definition, it's everything. Knows everything, has seen everything, point blank simple. And that also includes your desire. Obviously, it knows your desire. You don't have to tell your infinite self. It knows what you want. And it knows the different ways that you've gotten there. Now, you've probably heard the term before, everything you want wants you, right? All your desires and everything are looking for you too. Now, it's true. Literally, everything that you're looking for is trying to find you because your infinite self loves you. It is you. Why wouldn't it love you? You love yourself, right? And even deep down, if you're not sure, your infinite self loves the hell out of you. And all of these desires that you want, he, she, it is doing its best to get them to you. Now, if you're all the way up here, your infinite self is simply energy, it's simply light, it is everything. I would imagine to someone that's down here that's so limited, in this physical world that's built off of limitations, and not even just that, but again, if we already have a limited perception of our reality, then naturally we just function on a limited way. And that's okay, because our infinite self is not limited. However, your infinite self needs to find the best way to communicate the steps, or the best way to find whatever it is that you're looking for. It needs to find the best way to communicate that to you. Now, looking through here, as we go down, the only thing that seems to be in between you and the world self is the emotions. The emotions and the frequency. And it's funny because this feels, a certain way personally from my inner child. I would grow up feeling like I'm too emotional. And if there's anyone else that's out there and that feels the same way, they did feel the same way, maybe they feel the same way right now, I'm sorry that the world has made you feel that way. But we've been told that, we're too emotional. You're feeling too much. You care too much. And in this world, we're so much put into the logical thinking, which is just how we've been conditioned to think. And we're trying to chase all of these physical things that we think there's no room for emotion. I don't have time for emotion. We're so reactive to things. Do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. You don't have time to feel emotions. What are you getting all emotional for? Right? When literally, in this sense, your emotions are the language of God. And I mean that. Sounds like a big statement, right? But your emotions is how the infinite self speaks to you. It's how God experiences, it's how he expresses himself, he, she, it, through you. It's how your infinite self is able to connect you to this beautiful world of infinite. And obviously in this infinite world, there's the positivity, there's oneness, so there's love. When you hear people say the universe is love, you say, all right, but there's love and hate. How can, it just be love when we have hate? But really, if everything is connected and everything is one, everything is together, everything is attracting each other, which, is love, it's positive. But we'll do that in a separate video, explain that a little bit more. Anyway, your infinite self is trying to communicate all of your desires, how to get to your desires to you. And it does that through emotion. Now, how exactly does that work, right? Why is the emotion so important? Why is it deciding to use emotion in order to communicate that to you, right? As we know, everything is energy. We have been taught that, and that is one of the big things that I believe in and I advocate for. Unfortunately, we've been taught a lot of things that I feel like we shouldn't have just taken and accepted. But that one, I can get back on that. I can back that. Everything is energy. It's neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. And we can see that on a day-to-day basis, right? We have water. It evaporates up into the air. Is it gone? No. Did it get destroyed? No, it's just in the air. It goes up to the cloud, and then it starts to rain down. Did that rainwater come out of nowhere? Was it created? No, it was only transformed. And that's literally how everything works. It's only transformed. Now, if everything is energy, right, and it's flowing through you, that would mean your emotions, the same thing would be energy in motion. And it's funny how simple that seems, how right in front of your face it is, but when I heard it, I was like, oh shoot. But your emotions are your energy in motion. Now, what that means is if everything is energy and you are energy and it's flowing through you, you're feeling this energy in you, then that would mean that every emotion that you're feeling, there is no negative or positive, it just is. Which means that any energy that's going through you, it may feel a certain way to you, but it's not the energy, it's you. And that's okay. Not to put guilt on you, not to make you feel like, oh damn, it's my fault, but to put power back into your hands. If it's your doing, then that means you can do the opposite. If you're doing something bad, you can do the opposite. You can do something good. But everything is energy and it's flowing through you. So if you start to feel the energy going through you and it feels like anxiety, it feels negative, then it's not the energy, it's how you're looking at it. It's the situation that you're looking at. It's the filter that you have that's making you feel like this is a negative situation, so that energy feels negative. It feels like resistance. While on the other side, let's say there's someone else in that exact same situation that you're in, but instead they look at it differently, their filter is differently, and it seems like something positive for them, something that they want in their life. So instead of resistance, there's acceptance. They're gravitating towards it. So instead of it feeling like anxiety, it's excitement. Now they're looking forward to it. Now it's something positive. So you can see in the same way, anxiety and excitement are the exact same thing. It all just is. It's just energy. But it's the filter that you're applying to it. Now, to take it a step further, not only is it the filter that's making it feel that certain way, but your emotions are important because they're signals. They're trying to communicate something to you. Again, if your infinite self is trying to explain something to you, trying to show you something, and it's using the emotion, and in that way the emotion is a signal. Now, we've seen people say with this study, toxic positivity, you shouldn't just be trying to feel good all the time. And then you have, other people that feel like, all right, I'm just going through the motion. So if I feel negative, I just have to sit in it and just feel, negative. And I don't agree with either one of them. I feel like it's in the middle. While on one hand, you shouldn't just try to be positive all the time and ignore everything else. You don't have to just sit in that emotion and, it's just an emotion. It's just what I'm feeling. It's what I'm dealing with. No, it's a signal and it's trying to tell you something. So you should pay attention, look into that signal, take the information that you need from it, and use that to get back into the emotion, back into the state that you want to be in. So, with this being your emotions that are trying to tell you something and teach you something, that would also mean that it's resistance and acceptance towards something. So if you have resistance, it's almost like a car, the new cars that have the beeping noises now when you have someone on your blind side and there's a car that's coming up on you. Maybe you feel anger at that time. It's like the car beeping, telling you, oh, don't go that way. Oh, nope, don't do this. That doesn't resonate with you. Oh, you probably don't want to do that. It's pulling you against. It's trying to push you away from it. While instead, something that feels so joyous, so exciting, that feels so calming to you, that feels natural, that feels like where you want to be, then you probably should be there. It's trying to pull and attract you to that. Now, how does this apply for your desires? You can see I've brought each one up to a little dot on a scale, and what this dot is going to represent is your target. It's where you're coming from in order to reach that desire. It's whatever actions and emotions that you're applying for yourself in order to find that desire. Now, on this one, we can see we're very low frequency, right? We're very low at the bottom. Of course, the bottom would be guilt, shame, disappointment, anger, frustration, all of that, right? So you're all the way down here. You're trying to get to this desire while feeling terrible, while feeling disappointed, while feeling depressed, while feeling frustrated. And unfortunately, we see this all the time, don't we? We have people that are working their 9 to 5s, trying to make money, and they're depressed, they're exhausted, getting back up to another day, another dollar, right? You're only making $1 that day. That's what you do every day. Pretty common saying, right? We wake up and we're just dealing with it. And you're trying to go and find this desire while coming from this low frequency. Now, your spiritual, right, your infinite self can see way differently than you can. All you can see is where you are right now. You can do a cause of something, what we consider the cause to be an action, just in this terms of understanding, right? We can push something, it falls over, we can see the effects. We can only see what we're doing right now, and then in a little bit of time, we see what happens afterwards. We can only see that step and the effect of that step a few moments after. We can't see anything else outside of that. We can't see what happens further down the road. We can't see what would happen if we chose path B instead of path A. All we have is what's in front of us. But your infinite self sees everything. Everything that was, that is, and will be. It's already done. So, with you trying to follow your desire with this low frequency, right? What that translates to up here to your infinite self who's watching you do all of this goes to, okay, I'm going to do this, step A, and bing, bang, and I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to loop around here, and then bang. This is what your infinite self sees you doing, right? Like you go to A, and then you go to step B, and then C, and you come over here to step D, and then you decide to come over here to step E, and then you do F, and then you come all the way over here to the question mark, right? Now, if your infinite self already sees where this path is leading you, already sees what you're doing, and you're coming from this state of negative, of low frequency, what that aligns with is you going to step A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's do an example. Let's say that you're looking for a job promotion, right? You want a specific position at whatever job it is that you have. You want to play a certain role. So, as you're trying to follow this desire and coming from this frustration and anger and disappointment and sadness, you had A, B, C, D, E, which is A, you have to do overtime, right? You have to do a bunch of overtime, and then B, you have to shake some hands, kiss this person's ass. And then you have to come over here to step C, you have to do more overtime, and then you have to come to step D, where now you have to do something that's not even in your job description, and then you come over here to E, and you have to kiss another person's ass, and then you have to go to F, and then do more overtime. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? And then it seems to come all the way up here, it seems to plateau, and then question mark. Now, your infinite self can see where this is going to. It sees all the steps that you're doing, that you're following, and there's resistance. Why? Because it sees how much that you're doing. It sees it's not going to work. It sees that it's not working. It can see all the pain and frustration that you're putting yourself through. And it's trying to resist. It's trying to stop you from following that. However, unfortunately, in this life, we've been conditioned to think, let me make sure this thing is still. Okay. My camera cut off earlier. So, we're in this life, we try to, we're looking at what everyone else is doing. We're very social species, so we take our answers from other people and assume that's the truth. Whatever the collective is doing, we take our lack of knowledge as of not understanding things and look at what everyone else is doing and assume that it's the truth, right? Either that, or we have a calling, an urge to do something different, but we decide not to for our survival, because going against the group back then, in terms of caveman days or whatever, it was death, because you being in the tribe was something that was attached to your survival. You needed to be in the group, and you being separated from the group meant death. So, for some reason, we still seem to work from that same standpoint, as if I separate from the group, if I think differently from the group, if my truth is different from them, you start to feel anxiety, it doesn't feel right, you feel like something is wrong, it's not going to work. So unfortunately, that's what we've been taught. So we're trying to follow this desire coming from, all right, I need to do all of this, I need to do all of these steps, but I'm finally going to feel good, I'm finally going to feel great at the end when I get this physical thing. So you're doing all these steps, and you seem to get there, right? We get to this plateau where it seems like you finally reached your desire. However, instead of going up, we seem to cut off to the left and hit a question mark. In this case, you already hit the physical desire that you wanted. You got that physical thing. Let's say after all these steps, you finally did get the position that you were looking for. However, for some reason, you didn't get your desire. Why is that? Why is it that you finally got the physical thing that you wanted, that you were looking for, however, you never got your desire? Just think about it. Anything? If you finally got that physical thing that you were looking for, and yet you still feel empty, you don't feel that relief, that appreciation, that enjoyment, that excitement that you were looking for, then maybe it wasn't your desire. Every physical thing that you're looking for is never the true desire. It's never the core desire. It's fine to want physical things, but you need to understand what it is that you truly want. Everything that you desire is about how it makes you feel. That's it. That's simple. Everything that we do in life is either to attain a certain feeling or to avoid a feeling. If you think about it and really sit with that, go throughout your day and think about everything that you do. You do it either to find a feeling or to avoid a feeling. when it comes to your desires, let's say that job, right? That job position. Maybe you wanted that so you can have more money. But you wanted more money so you can feel secure. Maybe so you can feel safe. Maybe you wanted it so you can feel more powerful, right? Because money makes you feel like power. It makes you feel like you have more access to things. Maybe you wanted more access so you can feel more free. So you can feel like time is yours. So you can do what it is that you want to do. When really, you can always do what it is that you want to do, but, you feel differently. But whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that desire, it's always about that feeling, that emotion that it's going to give you. So, with you staying in this low frequency, this low emotional state, doing all of these things that you didn't want to do and exhausting yourself and breaking yourself down, and then it seems like you finally made it to the physical thing that you wanted, but it doesn't seem to work out. Maybe you looked so shiny before, but then you finally got to that position and all of a sudden, the boss, he sucks. The boss doesn't like you. The boss starts working you even more, starts giving you more responsibility. And even if you have more money, it seems like it doesn't even matter because you're still working all the time. You can't do anything with that money. Maybe you did get the money, but all of a sudden it seems like you have more things on your plate. Whatever it is, there's a bunch of different scenarios and ways that maybe it didn't work out for you. But the reason that it doesn't work out for you is because you never looked for the emotion. You were simply worried about the physical. And you didn't quite make it there. And your infinite self saw that, could see everything that was going on. It tried to give you resistance. It tried to push you away, but you didn't understand that pain, that suffering. You didn't understand what the point of it was. You just assumed that that's life, and you went through it anyway. When yes, your infinite self loves you. The things that you're looking for love you. They are trying to find you, but you said differently. You didn't allow it to. Now, on the other side, let's say we have this desire that you're looking for, you're trying to follow it, you're trying to get there, and you come from it from this high frequency, which would be happiness, which would be excitement, it's joy, it's peace, it's calm, right? All of the nice things in life, right? Let's say you're coming from this frequency. Now, in terms of this, what this would look like up here, and keep in mind, this isn't this is happening, so this is happening, this is happening, so this is happening. They're equal. This is simply a translation of what this looks like. So you following this desire and being on this frequency, this is what it looks like at the top. This is what's actually going on in the background. So you're following this this desire coming from this frequency, and it looks like bang, bang, bang. And we're going to put a star right up here because you made it, right? And this is A, and this is B, and this is C. Now, in this situation, right, you have that desire that you're looking for. Let's say maybe it's a certain amount of money, right? You want to make a certain amount of money. Now, you have this desire, and you're coming from the frequency of feeling happy, of feeling calm, of feeling at peace. Now, on this side, you understand, maybe you understand, some people do it unconsciously, but let's just assume that you understand already that whatever it is, that desire that you want, it's not just about the desire, it's about the feeling of it. So instead of you just chasing the physical thing, you say, you know what, I feel good, I feel happy, I feel calm, I'm just going to enjoy this journey. Whatever it is, I want to get more money, I'm going to enjoy this right now. I'm very happy with where I am now. They want this thing, but they're still happy with where they are now. So it's no longer a desperation thing, it's almost for fun at this point because they're satisfied, right? We hear gratification. For you to have gratitude with things. Have gratitude, be grateful, right? And this is why, it's because you're already happy with where you are now. You're already content. You're already at this high frequency of emotion. So in terms of your desire, because I'm assuming, I could be wrong, that whatever it is you're desiring is a high frequency thing. That your desire is to be calm, is to be happy, is to have abundance in your life, is to have peace, excitement, all of these good things. I'm assuming that's what you want. So if that's what you want, then that means these desires are already in line with where you are right now. So let's say you want more money, right? A lot of people will say, okay, so if you want more money, you gotta hustle. You gotta work for it. Unfortunately, that's a big truth that we've been taught, that has been expressed, is you need to work, you need to hustle, hustle, hustle if you want all these things, right? If you want a bunch of money, then you have to work your ass off for it, because that is what this is. The American dream is the opportunity of letting you work, work, work in order to achieve something. It's almost glorified at this point. The person that put his head in the dirt and hustled for 5, 10 years, 20 years to finally make it to where he wanted to be. It's like, oh, it's like you're amazing, you're a god, right? We should give you a big medal because you did all that, because that's the pinnacle of someone who never gives up. And it's great that you didn't give up, but you didn't even have to do all that in the first place. That's the sad part. So, let's say you want a bunch of money, right? Normally somebody would say you have to work, but instead, you decide to take the day off. Right? And not just in terms of being lazy, but there was a lot of resistance for you to go into work that day. Normally you just go, even if you didn't want to or not, but there was a lot of resistance, but instead it felt great. It felt calming, and you felt this calling, this urge to not go in. So instead you don't go in. That's step A. Now step B, you're just thinking, okay, should I stay here or should I go out? You know, I really just want to go out right now. I think I want to go out and explore a little bit. I think I'm going to go to a cafe, right? Because you had that choice, free will, right? And you decide to follow your emotions, to follow what feels right to you. And step B, you decide to go to that cafe. Now, so far, you're probably confused, right? Because you said, didn't you want a lot of money, right? You were trying to get a bunch of money, but you took the day off and you're going to a cafe. Doesn't really make sense to you right now. Doesn't make sense to anybody else on the outside, and that's okay. But what you're doing is you're following your emotion. You're doing what feels right to you, what feels natural, what seems to call you. So, you're not even worried about the end goal, honestly, at this point. You're worried about where you are right now and what feels right. Now, step B, you're at this cafe, and you're just chilling, you're relaxing, and you end up running into somebody, right? You don't know the person, but just casual conversation. You know, you sit next to this person, you guys start talking, start yapping a little bit, and start talking about what you guys do. And let's say you're an artist, right? So you guys are talking and you talk about your hobbies, and then you say, oh, I'm an artist, and you say, the other guy says, oh really, can I see some of your work? So you go, you show them some of the work, right? Just casually, just because he asked, and he's like, oh my god, wow, these are amazing. And you do this by yourself, right? Do you sell them? And then you're like, yeah, I'm actually I've been trying to work on selling it. I didn't really fully get started on the website yet. But yeah, something that I'm really, looking forward to. I definitely do want to sell. And then the guy is like, oh wow, well, I'm actually an art curator. I actually do events, and I have this big event next week. It would actually be amazing if you could come, if you could display some of your art. I feel like that would really bring the place to the next level. And you're like, okay, all right, cool, yeah, sure, I'll go. I love that, I appreciate that. So then bang, you end up going to that place, and guess what happens? All your art sold out. And how much money did you rake in that day? Who knows? I couldn't tell you. Could be 1,000, could be 10,000, could be more, because it's happened before. But just like that, you wanted more money and it found you. And it was easy. And it was simple. Simply because you were doing something that already felt right to you. Something that felt calming, that felt peaceful. And why exactly were you able to accomplish something that was so big, even though you barely had to do that many steps and it felt right? Because of this thing right over here, your infinite self. It knows everything you want. It knows what you've done, what you're doing, what you will do. It knows your desires, and it's trying to help you. So it communicated to you. So throughout that day, even though you not going to work did not make sense, even though you going to the cafe did not make sense, even though you getting money through your art that you didn't even have a website made for yet didn't seem to make sense, didn't seem probable, you don't gotta worry about that. He, she, it's got it. It's not your job. You can't understand infinite. In this world where we're already limited, we see things limited, it's not your job to worry about everything, nor should it be. Why would you want it to be? Your infinite self, your partner, has your back and understands all of this. It's not your job to. However, it's your job to understand when it communicates to you. It's your job to accept that, to follow that. Because sure, maybe you could have, step A, had that feeling to tell you not to go to work because it'd be fulfilling in that moment. But instead, you tried to control the whole situation yourself, and you were like, you know what? No, that's not how things work. If I want to get a bunch of money, I need to go to work. So you decide to go to work, and all that disappears. However, in this case, you trusted that signal because your emotions are signals from something higher above. You decided to follow that signal, follow that signal, follow that signal, and you made it. Because your infinite self knows. Now, I have these two other desires over here. It's the same thing. I can draw it out. It's going to end up being the same way. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing as these. It's either low frequency, back and forth, back and forth. Maybe you get that physical thing. Some people never get that physical thing, right? But either way, the desire isn't there. And then on this hand, you go ahead, you stay in aligned with that desire, with that same feeling, that high frequency, and you made it. Now, the funny thing is, not only did you make it, but the journey there was peaceful. The journey was positive. The journey was happy. Whatever it is that you want, you not only got the physical thing, but you got the true reason to why you even wanted the physical thing was the emotion. And not only did you get the emotion, but you already had the emotion when you started, instead of trying to find it, because your feelings are free. Whatever it is, that physical thing that you're looking for, it may seem separate from you, but that feeling that you want is free. You can make yourself, maybe you want to be in a good mood, so you decide to watch a feel-good movie, and now you feel good. You want to, feel good, so you play some feel-good music, now you feel good. Whatever it is, maybe you're seeing somebody, seeing your grandma, seeing your sister, seeing whatever, they make you happy, so you go do that, and now you feel happy. It's free. You can find it very easily. It's not dependent on anything else. If you just smile, put a smile on your face for no reason for a few seconds, you'll start to smile naturally. It's free. It's not dependent on anything. Now, these physical things that seem so separate from you, it may seem like you can't get to that thing because it's all the way over there. But again, if your desire is simply how it makes you feel, and you already feel that now because that's free, that's immediate, then even if on this physical plane it seems separate, we know that this physical is limited. We know that we only see 0.0035% of what's actually out there. So outside of our perception, we already have it. We're already there. It's already with us. The physical thing just has to catch up. You just have to give it time. You just have to keep following that emotion. Bang, bang, bang. And it shows up. So the choice is yours, honestly. I'm not here to tell anybody to do something, or you have to believe something or whatever. But the thing is, if you had a choice of trying to find a desire but going through it and feeling terrible the whole way through, and you maybe getting that physical thing, maybe not, and then even when you get that physical thing, still most likely not feeling how you want it to feel, when on the other hand, I can already feel great, feel good, enjoy my life, and get the physical thing that I wanted, the options seem simple. It seems pretty clear cut to me. And I'll always be a very firm believer in terms of end goal, in terms of desires. If life was just about the end goal, then we would just skip the journey and go straight to the end, right? We would just go straight to death. If, our understanding of death, we would just go straight there. But no, instead we want to do all these things. We want to experience this and experience that. We want to go through the journey. So if it really is about the journey, why are you doing a bunch of things that you don't want to do just for the sake of that end goal? It doesn't make sense. If you really claim, to want these things, then why are you hustling through all of this disappointment? Doesn't make sense. Why is this thing playing music? But yeah, it doesn't make sense. While instead, you can be over here and actually feeling the thing that you wanted to feel. You can be enjoying yourself, right? And still getting to that place that you wanted to get to. Simple. One more thing that I'll say, just in case it doesn't fully resonate with you yet is flow state, right? I'm sure we've all seen the flow state. We've all seen examples of the flow state. Now, what would that be? Let's say a musician, right? We've seen it so many times. There's a musician that has this new album that they dropped, and they talk about this one song. You know, they put so much drive into it. You know, they put so much effort into it. They really wanted to get this message across, and they've been. I feel like this is gonna break. I'm not gonna sit on that. They feel like there's been so much passion and stuff that went into it, right? So much thought, so much effort, and you know, they like it. It's okay. But there's that other song though, that's on there that yeah, that's the one right there, and everyone feels that way. They love it. And the funny thing is, it's the one that they barely really gave effort to. The one that took the quickest. The one that they didn't even write. They just decided to go in the studio. They just had a calling and they just went with it. Just went with how they were feeling. They just, you know, just flow. And that's the one that goes straight up to the billboard. And we see it happen time and time and time again. And we know about it, but yet we don't seem to capitalize on it. All of these situations, all these small things, we've already had glimpses of this understanding already in our day-to-day. But we take it as, you know, just something that happens and don't really realize that there's a reason and we can apply it to everything. That same flow state that that musician has with, you know, that song that was like no big deal, it was easy and it kind of just flew through. It's the same thing when it comes to anything in life. When it comes to your life in general, this is it. That's all it is. You know, we've heard the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and it's a shame and it's the system, and we blame everything else outside of us, and we start going into victim mode. Yes, sure, I can say for some people there's certain things that seemingly seem to be affecting them, but again, you have that power. You going into victim mode and trying to blame something else. Why would you give up your power that way? Especially if you already feel like someone has done something to you and gotten over on you. Why would you want to give them even more power by being a victim of it? Instead, the rich get richer because they're here. They're surrounded by money all day. They wake up and look at money. Then they hop in a car and drive around, expensive car, and do this and do that and do that. They already have a lifestyle of money. They already have a mentality of money. Money is easy. Money is no big deal. They take money for granted. And then at that point, it keeps coming to them. It's not about good or bad, good and evil. It's simply about that person already being in a mind state of money. Money not being such a big thing. They spend money easily. They understand money. It's their life. It's where they are. It's their emotional frequency of calm, of peace when it comes to money. They're on that money frequency, right? And then the money keeps coming. While instead you may have somebody that's poor, but yet they hustle. Some of the poorest people in this world are working and hustling way more than any of these rich billionaires, millionaires could ever dream of. They're doing doubles, triple shifts, constantly working, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., overnights. And yet, they're not making any money. The money just doesn't seem to come. But while they're hustling and working and late nights, it's depression, it's working from frustration, they're doing constant work and effort and feeling like it's not enough, and at a certain point it just is what it is. They wake up and say another day, another dollar, and guess what? They get paid $1. That becomes their frequency. That's where they're at. That's what they're expecting. That's what their life is. That's their understanding, is you need to work and hustle in order to get money. And then some people think money will come eventually, but even still, you're separating yourself and saying it'll come someday. Instead, it could have came tomorrow. Could have came today. But you're pushing it off. So it's simply your frequency. It's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's simple as that. Your infinite self sees this, it understands this, it knows your desires, it knows you because it is you, and it loves you, and it wants to help you. You don't need to do everything by yourself. When we say you're not alone, you aren't alone because you have you. You have everybody else. Yes, I'm not saying you need to disregard everyone else, but your strongest attribute to your life will always be you. You just have to listen to it when it talks to you.